The one thing is, you look at this rotation, and it's pretty good. You go Bieber, McKenzie, Williams, Bybee, Logan Allen. Those are really good. Now, the last three guys made their major league debuts and had great success. So, if you're a Guardians fan, you have to be concerned at some point the league kind of adjusts or figures out one or two of those guys, and there's a little bit of regression. The thing I find really interesting is the past several years, the Guardians always had 6 or 7 guys that you thought, man, if you have to rely on him to start 15, 20 games, you're okay. I don't know that, with Quantrill leaving, with Cody Morris leaving, trading Savale, I don't know that you have that buffer that's been so important.
Yeah, you hit it. And, those guys have moved on without, offsetting that, I guess, with more stability in the lineup. It'd be one thing if that was the case, like if you traded a Shane Bieber and got back, a major league piece. But obviously they've kept Bieber, and I think it's probably important to keep Bieber, given the factors you just mentioned, where you don't know with young pitching, what sophomore steps will have to be taken, and will injury rear its ugly head, and those sort of things. And yeah, there's questions about the depth, and they'll need more than 5. Every team does. Youth is on their side in terms of just general durability and pliability, but you also have to be careful with those guys' innings. So, there are some other names beyond what you showed there. There's the Hunter Gaddis, Xavier Curry. Those guys could fill in a pinch. Joey Cantillo is a higher end prospect for them, who could be potentially a major league option this year in the rotation. Daniel Espino was a top pitching prospect. Obviously, injuries got in the way for him last year, so it's hard to count on him being a guy who steps up and steps into the rotation at the major league level this year. But there'll always be surprises that come from the system. But you're right. I mean, you go into spring training with a different depth picture than we're accustomed to seeing here in Cleveland, and it's not offset by some commanding lineup presence. We still have all the questions we had about the lineup that we had at the end of last season.
How good, relative? You cover all of Major League Baseball. How good is that Guardians starting rotation relative to the rest of the league, do you think?
It's interesting. I haven't poured over projections and stuff yet. I do rankings every year of the rotations. They usually end up wrong, as most baseball predictions do. So I don't know. I don't know if that would. I don't think I would have. I don't know that I would have them as like a top 10 at this point. I mean, they'd probably be on the fringe of that. I think, just off the top of my head, without looking at it too deeply at this point. But the upside is tremendous there, because you can play the devil's advocate with Logan, Bybee, and Allen as the league adjusts to them, and the innings got to be managed, and maybe one of them gets hurt or whatever. But the upside for that group is tremendous. I mean, those guys have terrific stuff, and Bybee, especially the way he just showing on the major league stage right away is really impressive. And now you're adding real veteran poise and polish with McKenzie coming back healthy, and you have Bieber as of today, and it looks like they'll be reporting to camp with Shane Bieber, and that's not a bad thing for the state of the rotation. And maybe it'll look brilliant by year's end, where they kept Shane Bieber going into the year, and maybe they'll have success with him, or maybe he'll reestablish his trade value. Who knows what happens? But as of today, he's on the roster. So there's upside and there's experience in that core group of 5. You just got to keep it healthy.